right after the KC Cup, we have our new ban list, which is kind of expected. I don't know anything about the ban list. It literally just came out half an hour ago, so I know absolutely nothing. I've not seen any notifications or spoilers. Before I open the ban list, I want to talk about what I expect or what I want to see from the ban list. So of course, tier 0 Salaman grades probably should have a few cards limited. For me personally, I think that the deck is it's good, definitely, but it's not as good as some people think. I think that limited is definitely necessary, but they don't have to limit too many cards because the deck itself has quite a lot of weaknesses, and just limiting a few of the cards to reduce its consistency and follow-up can already help to lower the power level of the deck a lot. So if I were to make a prediction for what cards they are going to limit, I would say Circle to 2, so they can search their Gazelle a little bit less likely, and also maybe Balinix to 1 or to 2, so they can have less protection from the graveyard, because Balinix is one of the most annoying protections from the graveyard, especially if you have multiple of them. I don't want Lady Debug or Silent Mining to be limited, because obviously they are also used in other Cyber decks, like Code Talkers. Okay, Meta Knights are a bit too new, so I don't expect them to limit Meta Knights that early. And also, while they are quite decent, they're not as threatening as decks like Salads. I think that's pretty much it. I don't think that there are a lot of decks that need to be limited aside from Salads. But there are some cards that I want to see unlimited. Obviously, Crystron's my favorite deck. I want to see stuff like Genex Controller just be unlimited. I am absolutely biased. And also, yeah, I hope that Shiranui just gets unlimited, because I quite like the deck, and I like the combo version, not the heavy trap version. I think the combo version is pretty fun. Yeah, okay, let's begin. Let's go in and have a look. Implementation details. Ooh, oh. Okay. Gazelle to 1, Roar to 1. Okay, that is a huge hit. That's a huge hit. I don't think that the deck deserves that big of a hit. This hit completely kills off what makes the deck good. Without Roar and Gazelle, I don't think the deck can do much. I think the biggest appeal of Salads is that they can consistently search a negate and set it every turn. I think that now both Gazelle and Roar is limited to 1, the deck has just lost its purpose. I don't think that it should be tiered at all after this hit. The reason why people were playing Salads in Meta Knights is because it gives them a negate, and also an extra card in the column. But now, they couldn't have a negate. I guess the deck is completely dead now. Okay. No way. No. Oh. Okay, I can see why Konami decided to limit this card, because everyone is using it in Salads. Because it is just one of the best staples to run in Salads. And now it's limited to 1. This card is still undeniably good since release. It has just gone better over time, even though no one is using this card in TCG or even Master Duel. But this card is still good in Duel Links. In this format, this card is still one of the most game-changing cards in the entire game, and it is absolutely free, which is really good for free-to-play players. But I guess Konami just hates free-to-play players. And also because Konami keeps releasing new cards that are immediately limited to 1, as you can see in World Legacy Secrets, Trishula, or even cards like Monster Reborn, right? Because they are released and then they're immediately limited to 1. So that means Konami can just instantly prevent those decks from playing enemy controller and being too overpowered. So yeah, and I also can see head judging being limited to 1. Okay, no one plays this card anymore, so no one cares. I don't care. This card is very situational to actually use its effect. And even when it is already limited to 2, no one was using it over cards like Enemy Controller or even Treacherous Trap Hole, because those cards are just better. This card is powerful in a vast number of decks. It is not. No one was using this card. Oh. 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 Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Tretch to 1. I can kind of see this coming because they limited Econ to 1. And Econ is a card that is used along Tretch a lot, so I'd imagine that they will also limit Tretch as well. For me personally, I always only play a single copy of Tretch anyway, so that's actually good because if both Econ and Tretch is limited to 1, that means a lot of limited 2 cards can be unlimited. So if you think about it that way, it is pretty good. A lot of the staples are just as good, if not even better than Tretch. If you look at cards like Warning Point, it doesn't target, it doesn't destroy, it negates the effects, and it is absolutely unlimited. Even cards like Crackdown, there's limited 3, but you can just steal the monster. It's 1 extra monster for link plays, it's non-destruction, you can use it even though if you have traps in your graveyard. So I would argue that a lot of the staples that we have right now in Duel Links are just as good, if not even better than Tretch. Because back in the day, we don't have a lot of good options for staples, so Tretch is probably the best pick we have. And also, back in the day, Book of Moon is very, very popular because it is quite a good card, and links aren't out. But now, because links are in the meta, Book of Moon is a lot less effective than it had been. So people might not use Book of Moon and use other stable traps instead, and that makes Tretch less good. So honestly, Tretch to 1 is absolutely okay. It's brilliant. Okay. Oh, okay, that's wonderful. Okay, this is really, really good. Yes, Dark Lord Eggshell 2-1. Okay, that's actually really, really good because no one was playing Dark Lords anymore, and I really, really like the deck. I think the reason why it is so good back in the day is just because they are a lot of times splashed in other decks. For example, Star Seraph and the short amount of time when FAs were broken because of level augmentation. Even back then, the deck is a little bit bricky. Yeah, limited to 1 is really good, so now you can use both Eggshell and the revive spell Contact and the negate. Even with Eggshell to 1, the deck still wouldn't be too consistent to be too overpowered, but it will give the deck just the right amount of tools for them to be viable, at least. Oh wow, they limited Mekk-Knight cards so early. I did not expect that they would be hit so early. They're such a new deck, and they already limited Whispers. Oh wow, that means because both Secrets and Whispers are limited to 1, that means they can only choose 1. Yeah, they can only choose either a monster negate or a spell negate. And that makes the deck a lot less good. That's actually a very, very significant hit, because you can only negate monsters or negate spells, you can't negate both. This gives a lot of the other decks a way to out a Mekk-Knight board a lot easier. So do I like this change? I think it is a tiny bit too harsh, but it's reasonable. I could see that being a good thing. We'll have to see if this makes Mekk-Knight immediately untiered. Okay, so that's all the limited 1 cards. Limited 2? No, why did you do this? No, why did you limit Lady Tifa? It's perfectly fine. Okay, honestly, Gazelle and Roar to 1 already completely kills the deck off. I don't see a need to limit any other card. Lady Debug is absolutely unnecessary. It also kills off Code Talkers, which is pretty much a pretty good deck. It's a pretty good deck. It's underrated. It is quite fair in my opinion because while they are really consistent, they lack a strong follow-up, and their follow-up board often needs 2 or more monsters in your hand after you activated your Recoded Alive. So this limit is absolutely unnecessary. I hate this. Why did they even do this? Salad's already dead anyway. There's pretty much no reason to play Code Talkers anymore because now Lady Debug is limited to 2. And one of the best things about Code Talkers is that they're really consistent because they have free debugs and free silent minings. But now debug is limited to 2, and they can't play the limited 2 staples. So that's terrible. Limited free, Salamangreat Circle. No one cares, okay? No one cares that Salamangreat Circle is limited to 3. Because the deck is already dead. They could absolutely not limit debug and not limit circle, and no one will be playing the deck anyway. Just wait, there's more crazy stuff to go. I don't know if that's a good sign or not. Okay, what's next? Enshi 2-3, that's fine. 6 Samurais are far less good than they were before. Enshi 2-3 is absolutely okay. Enshi, okay, what's next? Shin's Dojo. Oh, so they're limiting both Dojo and Enshi to 3. Okay. Then that means they can play 2 Dojos and 1 Enshi. I imagine that's the ratio that most people will play. Or they can just play triple Dojo to increase the consistency of making Shien. But I imagine that people will be playing double Dojo and 1 Enshi. I think that they can just unlimit both cards and the deck will be absolutely fine. They're just playing a bit safe. But no longer on this list. Cosmic Cyclone. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. It counters a lot of back row decks that have spells and traps activate in the graveyard. And I imagine that this will be a good unlimit to counter Salads because if you banish their Roar, they couldn't recycle it again. But again, no one will be playing Salads anymore because this hit is huge. So Cosmic Cyclone Unlimited, okay, I guess. Okay, what's next? Invocation to... Oh, okay. Actually, I think that's pretty okay. Invoked is a lot less good than it was before. Especially because Casitas is banned anyway. Even if they summon Purgatrio every turn, they're still using their normal summon, realistically. And also, it's a monster without protection. And because Purgatrio, the problem of Purgatrio before is that your opponent can flip all of your monsters face down and then attack over all of them with Purgatrio and deal a whole bunch of piercing damage. But because links are out, that means those monsters couldn't be switched to defense with Book of Boon, Floodgate, Canadia. That means actually Purgatrio is already a lot less good than it was before. And also, the fire decks just aren't good in this meta. Because Salads are gone, so... And especially because Circle is free. Circle is limited to 3, so they can't even use Alistair with Circle now. Okay, now I see why they limited Circle to 3. That means they couldn't splash Invoked in in Salads. Okay, now I understand. Ragged Gloves Unlimited, that's fine. Phantom Knights are still good. I still believe that even if Ragged Gloves is limited to 2, the deck is still pretty good. But now that it is at 3, the deck is a lot more consistent. They went from 6 starters to 7 starters if you're playing Phantom Strategy. And I'd imagine that Phantom Knights would probably go back into the tier list, maybe as a tier 3 option. But yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, Invoked. The Earth Invoke is unlimited. No one was playing this card anyway, because when people play Invoked, they always play Purgatrio or Casitas before it's banned. Okay, Gagahead, that's okay. The main problem of Onomat was that the skill was broken. Honestly, none of the cards were the problem anyway. All the Galaga cards could be unlimited and nothing would change. Next card. Yes! 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 Shiranui! Yes! Hey, that's wonderful. Let me talk about my thoughts about Shiranui. The deck could be a pretty good rogue deck. The heavy trap version might come back because now that Squire is unlimited, they can play triple Squire, maybe 2 solitaires, and play a whole bunch of traps. But I mean, there are a lot of other decks that are better that you can play heavy traps on. If you're playing a heavy trap version of Shiranui, you would much rather just use another deck that has a consistency skill, like Phantom Knights, because it helps you just make your board more consistent while you still have free cards to set. But I imagine because links are out, there are so much more generic options to deal with what Shiranui can do on the board. There are a lot more Sunsala counters, stuff like Crackdown, Warding Point on your Squire, Security Dragon, Ningirsu. Pretty much every deck can play an out to out Sun Saga or just any other Shiranui card. And this definitely helps to diversify the meta, to actually make some older decks that are good see play in the new meta and see how they perform. Yeah. Spirit Master Unlimited, absolutely fine. It was at free before the ban list and nothing much happened. Oh. Necros Unlimited. Oh, okay. So, what do I think about this deck? The deck is okay. The deck is not broken, but the deck is very annoying when they keep ending the battle phase with Valkyries and also other hand traps that they could play. It was really good when it is limited to 2 because they couldn't play other cards like Kiteroid to stall along with Valkyries. But now that it's unlimited, they can play free copies of this card. They can search it every turn and just stall for eternity. So in terms of like power level, I don't think that the deck will be a lot more powerful, but I think that it will be a very annoying deck to face. And I do not look forward to seeing more Necros players in the ladder just stalling with this card and just being annoying. Anyway, yes! Genex Controller! Crystron, let's go! Genex Controller was never deserved to be in the ban list anyway, so seeing it being unlimited is really good news. Well, that means Crystrons will be a lot more consistent than they were before. Personally, just as a biased Crystron player, I obviously hope that Crystrons are absolutely unlimited. I don't think even if they're unlimited, the deck will do a lot. But honestly, Controller to unlimited is pretty good. Okay, that's the end. What do I think about this ban list? So first of all, salads are just dead. They overkilled salads way too hard. They even prevented them to be splashed in Invoked because they limited Circle to free just in case people were trying to splash Invoked. But they weren't even using Invoked before the ban list anyway, because before the ban list, you could totally just play Invoked with salads, but no one was doing it. Probably just because they don't have to, because the deck is already so good on its own. But they could not even thought one step ahead and just prevented people from playing Invoked with salads. So after this ban list, salads are completely dead. I expect them to not be in the meta at all. And I don't think they're even good as a rogue deck without consistent access to a Omni Negate. And another thing is, Econ to 1, even though it's really sad in a free-to-play player's perspective, because it is a godsend of a free-to-play staple to be used for every single free-to-play player's deck. But it kind of makes sense that it is limited to 1 because of how game-changing its effect is. Stealing a monster can oftentimes win you the game, especially in the Link era, where you can just steal a high Link Arrow monster and just use it as a Link climbing tool to make it even stronger. And also, now that Enemy Controller and Tretch both are limited to 1, that allows a lot of limited 2 cards to be unlimited. So that is just good for the meta game overall. And head judging, honestly, nobody really cares. Okay, Mech Knights also got hit. This hit is significant. Even as a new deck, the deck already got hit. And Whispers to 1 means that they can't play Secrets and Whispers together in a single deck. Which means when they build a Mech Knight deck, they will have to choose between negating monsters or negating spells. They couldn't negate both. So I imagine that most players will be picking the monster negate because it's just better overall. It also revives a monster. Code Talkers are also hit by the limiting of Lady Debug. It makes a deck a lot less consistent and also limits the cards they can actually play as their back row. Eggshell is a good unlimit. I imagine because of the bricky nature of the deck, Eggshell to 1 is fine. It makes the deck at least playable, because the deck is really struggling to be viable in this meta without Eggshell even being available. But now, they have 1 copy of this, and it can help just make things better. Yeah, other decks that are also unlimited, other decks that are also buffed from the ban list are Six Samurais, Invoke, Phantom Knights, Onrumat, and Necros, Cristrons, and most notably Shiranui. While the other decks might not make a huge impact on the meta immediately, I imagine that Shiranui will emerge as a pretty good deck in the meta. Probably even be tiered, because Squire is their 1-card combo, which enables their entire deck, and now it jumps straight from limited to unlimited. So I look forward to seeing people play the combo version of this deck. Please don't play the trap version. It's not fun at all. And also, if you're playing the trap version, there are just other decks that are better to splash traps in, like Phantom Knights. Overall, did I like the ban list? Yes. I absolutely love the ban list, even though Econ is limited to 1. That's quite sad, because I'm using this card at 2 in basically every single free-to-play deck that I build. But honestly, looking at all the other cards, looking at how Salad is brutally murdered, and Shiranui, Cristrons are bringing back to the meta, I honestly think, and also Dark Lords, I think that this ban list is overall quite good. It gives old decks a chance to compete with the newer decks that are dominating the meta right now. And I just hope that after the ban list implements, we will see a healthier meta with more diverse decks. And I'll also be interested to see how the older decks adapt to the new meta. And also how the new decks could counter the old decks with new cards that they have. So what are your guys' thoughts about the ban list? Do you like the ban list, or do you absolutely hate the ban list? Personally, I quite like the ban list, and I look forward to seeing how you guys think about the ban list. Just tell me in the comments, and thanks for watching, goodbye.